This is Halloween.
Well, it's Monday morning here. I moved the car on, away from the wall over here. So just had a little more room to walk through. We got a bunch of stuff just kind of, piled up everywhere because we don't have nowhere else to put it. So, if any of y'all looking for a good 5.3 LS motor, it was set up for a turbo. Got a sloppy stage 2 cam in it. The rings are gapped. It's got good valve springs, lifters and all that good stuff in it. It's got about 300 miles on it. Same with the Turbo 350 transmission here. It's a early short tail shaft. But we got rain again. Now, the weatherman said this was supposed to be out of here early. It's about 10 o'clock in the morning because this is kind of waiting on it to stop, but I've got to get, this piece extracted so we can build our other leg for our subframe mount. Kind of like this one. And we still got a lot of metal work to do. I'm trying to get this to the point where the metal work's kind of roughed in so I can go back in there and finish it up. Get this motor and stuff dropped back out. That way I can start working on shortening control arms and figuring out what I'm doing with the strut here, because I'm not going to let it stick up. I don't know if you can see, but it's right up here in the quarter window, and that's just not going to quite work out. So I may put a coil over on this. When we can use a smaller diameter spring, we can kind of kick it out here. Maybe we can tie it in here, That way when we put our roll bar in here, we can tie the strut top and, this back support in. But it's morning and we got rain, so we're going to plug through between the showers and we'll go from there. So I don't know if y'all can hear the rain, but you can definitely see it running down the windshield there. Electric tools and water don't really mix, so let's hope for the best. I've been, out here with the electric tools out here in the rain, extracting some structural pieces here to repurpose. So, a lot of people think this is just a plain piece of sheet metal. Well, it's boxed and it's fairly heavy, but if you look inside there, that thing's got a brace all the way down to the inside. So this thing's like literally a 1/4 inch thick right here. I think it'll be more than fine. It's not that heavy, It is heavy for a box piece of sheet metal, but that's basically what I've done over here. We just got to repeat it again over here. So now I'm going to start cutting and wedge cutting this and pinching the end of it in. So put my little cage nut, right here in the bottom of it. And like I said before, I'm just kind of rough getting this stuff in here, and I'm going to go back and clean some welds up and, do some more stuff. So let's get to work on that. Well, I've been working on this brace for, I don't know, about 20 minutes or so, but I get it all, bent and kind of rough welded up, and about time to put my little cage nut in the end of it here, and then we'll clean some of this up and straighten some of it up where it's not quite right. But basically what we're shooting for was the same but opposite of this, so we're pretty close to having that. So I'll pop back in when we get a little further along. Well, I've got the other leg mostly done here. I left this side just a little bit longer than the other side, that way I could trim it so it fits a little bit better, especially since the body's leveled up with that side. I've been keeping a level on here, you know, on the flash part of the car, and as you can see, this side's a little high. I've got a jack under there, just trying to get a, where this will just kind of pop right in, and I'll let the pressure off, and it should go right back to the center here. But I'm going to trim this a little bit, and then we'll get it buzzed in there, and I'll show you what we ended up with, and I'll also go over how I'm going to kind of reinforce it. So I'll be back in just a little while. Alright, I've been working along here. I've got the brace welded in right there, and I took a little piece of square stock and tied it up to the, the corner there where it's plated. Makes it pretty strong. Looking for my other little piece of square stock here. I had two of them laid out, but I was going to show you what it was made out of, but it's just like a 14 gauge square stock. As you can see, it's not going nowhere, so that triangulates it into the body there, keeps it from swaying back and forth or whatever. So I'm gonna work on this other side and get it in there, and we'll go from there. So I was digging through my scraps, and I thought I'd laid two pieces of that square tube out. I just got some, just some scrap stuff down here that I fell onto for, we need a little piece of something. But I was digging along, and the other piece I thought I pulled out, well, it's pretty short, and it ain't nowhere near as long as the other side, so looks like we're going and making a run and trying to locate some of this 1/8 square bar here. So, I'll pop back later and it'll just, magically appear. Well, I just kind of popped in momentarily, coming down here. I got our bar stock and, some washers to do a few things, but kind of wanted to kind of touch base. And it's real easy to kind of get disheartened when doing stuff like this, but you kind of got to roll with the punches and just keep on plugging forward. Not everything always goes as when it's perfect, so just keep that in mind when you're messing with your own stuff, that everybody does kind of get a little down sometimes on it, and it'll get better and you'll get further along. Just keep on keeping on. Alright, now done got my bar in here. I'm gonna run another bar between here, but I'm gonna raise it up just a couple of inches, because I do plan on putting something else back here, like a turbo, something like that, back here. So I'm gonna need some room. It also give us a good place to mount stuff off of if we need to. But we're triangulated to the sides here, and normally it'd be good, but just for a little extra insurance here, I'm gonna put one between. I'm gonna plate it into that back wall there, just to kind of stiffen it up, because the top part of it's good and thick up here. It's a double wall stuff, but down here at the bottom, I don't know if you can see it, but it's just plain old sheet metal, and that little squiggly line they stamped in it don't really do a whole lot for its rigidness. So I'll pop back in when I get a little more further along. So I come out here and I got my bar stop marked here. That's about where I want to cut. Now, another helpful hit right here is when you buy this stuff, I don't know if you can see that, but it's covering an oily, like what I like to call mill scale. You just want to take a little brake cleaner on a towel and just wipe this stuff down after you get it cut before you start welding. Alright, so got all the mill scale cleaned off that bar, and I got it kind of tack welded in here. And as you can see, I got a level on it. the car's level. I checked it off the roof seam right here, which is the flattest part of this car. Our bar's level, you know, in the side-to-side plane, and also in the forward-to-back, you know, plane. And I'm gonna go ahead and buzz this in here, and I may make a little fast-forward video, because I don't know if y'all like seeing that stuff happen or not, but I've just been trying to make quite a bit of progress here, so I've not been doing that on the last couple of videos. So I want to drop a little fast forward here and just welding this in here. So be back in just a few moments. Well, I'm back. The bar's welded in on the, you know, the front and top corner here. I've got to go in here and get under the car and weld the bottom side of both. I got to weld it to that little pinch seam on each side also, but it's good and tied in. It's level. And that's just one of those important things when you're doing stuff like this, that you got to keep checking, make sure everything's square, everything's level. So I'm going to do that real quick and I'll be right back. So now, you know, I got my little plate made that's going to tie into the back wall back here off that bar that we put in. I just went ahead and pre-welded to this plate, got it cleaned up, you know, and now I'm going to measure, you know, and grind off on the car where the paint's at, grind that off. Finish clean this plate up a little bit and the bill scale off. And we'll get our little bar in there. Just a little extra support. Probably won't do much, but never hurts. It's better to have it than to not. And at this point, I got the little brace welded in there. I'm going to take y'all down here. And you notice I didn't weld all the way around. I just pretty much spotted the sides and the bottom because there's a big old gap at the top because it steps out right there. What that does do is it just gives a little extra support right here to, you know, the tail light panel. And you know, never hurts to have a little extra. So we're all tied in. I think at this point I'm going to jump up under the car and tighten these subframe bolts up, and we'll start working on these, narrowing these control arms and axles, and, you know, addressing the strut issue that we're going to have at hand. And once we get all the base structure kind of in the car, we're going to pull this motor and stuff back out. So we're getting a lot closer than we were, and a lot farther than we've been. So I'll be back here in just a few minutes. And at this point, we're all bolted in. Our subframe's bolted down there. I just took the factory washers, that, you know, the big washers, and they had a little rubber lip on them. I just took and cut that off a cut-off wheel for top and bottom. I got it bolted in. I had to split the bottom of the driver's side a little bit. I'm going to have to weld a little gap up right there just so it sat 100% flat. That was a mistake on my part. It's part of it. You just kind of go back and have to adapt a little bit. So until a little further along, that's going to be it for right at the moment. So I'll be right back. Alright, I went back and I got that all buzzed back up down there. Car is fully off jack stands. Looks like we're pretty close to dead on there. A little bit at a time. You just kind of got to chip away at it. And obviously, I still got to box all this stuff in up here, but my main goal was to get the car where it was, you know, structurally stable. And that's where we're at right now. We're, you know, that's just stuff up here on the roof banging around. We're good and solid, so I guess next up is getting the struts and stuff, getting the suspension sorted out, and figure out what we're going to have to do, if we're going to have to flare the quarters or if they're going to be fine like they are. You know, the wheels are towed in because they're turned slightly just from moving it, but I got to deal with this strut. So I'll have you another video tomorrow. That's probably going to wrap this one up for today. It's getting, you know, it's not super late, but it's probably about 4 o'clock, and looks like it's about to start pouring rain again, so I wanted just to piddle around, and I may video some for tomorrow. So if you liked the video, just, you know, hit that subscribe button down there, and I'll try to start making these things a little better, you know, but kind of stuck with the equipment I'm using, so just hit the subscribe button. It'll eventually help out.